Let us define first managerial accounting. Managerial accounting is the field of accounting that provides economic and financial information to the internal users, primarily managers, to aid them in their decision making. So, way back nung kayo ay first year pa, nagkaroon na kayo ng introduction sa accounting, that is yung basic accounting. So, in basic accounting, you had studied the whole accounting cycle. From journalizing to posting, to creating trial balance and generating financial reports. Yung financial reports na nga na yun ay income statement at balance sheet. But for managerial accounting, you won't just do the report. You will also make analysis and interpretation of those reports. Example nga ng mga reports sa management accounting ay 1. Financial ratio analysis. If you would remember in your other financial management subjects, ito yung part kung saan nagko-compute kayo ng current ratio, net profit margin ratio, liquidity and solvency ratios. So aside from that, you also do budget reports. There's also the variance analysis reports. And many more, as much as needed ng company. So bakit nga ba natin kailangan pag-aralan ang managerial accounting? We study managerial accounting because it will help us perform different functions in an organization. Ano-ano nga ba yun? Number 1 would be planning. Planning involves setting immediate as well as long-term goals of an organization. Short-term goals. Kapag kailangan mong ma-meet ang particular na amount ng sales for a particular period, tatanong mo sa sarili mo, saang locations ba magandang magbenta? Kailangan mo bang mag-invest sa mga advertising promotions? How much stock ba ang kailangan mo para ma-meet yung particular demand ng customer? How about long-term goals? Kapag ka nag-operate na ang business for a long period of time, there will come a time na the business would have enough retained earnings to expand or create other branches in different location. So, dito na papasok yung paggawa ng mga feasibility studies as to what type of business, what form of operation, what kind of customers would the business target, and how much investment would it need. Aside from that, planning also involves predicting future conditions that are expected to prevail. Ang magandang concrete example nito is during this time of pandemic. So, since restricted yung bilang ng mga customers, halimbawa na pwedeng pumasok sa mga stores and restaurants, yung mga businesses na apektado nun, hindi sila nag-ooperate in full capacity. Bakit? Pag nag-operate sila in full capacity, magkakaroon sila ng oversupply. And since perishable yung goods na piniproduce nila, they may suffer losses from spoilage. Third one, considering the different means or strategies that can be used to achieve the set goals. Sa part na to, gagamitin mo na yung mga topics na mapapag-aralan pa natin sa mga susunod na chapters. Manibawa niyan yung cost volume profit analysis, financial ratio analysis, standard costing, and more. So, ano-ano doon yung mga combination na i-apply mo para nang sa ganon makapag-produce ka ng suggestion or strategy na maaari mong isubmit sa iyong manager or supervisor. And lastly, deciding on which of the strategies will be used to achieve the set goal. Sa part na to, i-weigh in mo na yung pros and cons na mga options na meron ka. Kung alin man sa kanila, yung ma-achieve mo yung goal in the most effective and efficient way, yun ang pipiliin mo. Second function, that is directing and motivating. This involves overseeing the day-to-day activities, making sure that the organization is functioning smoothly and the members are mobilized to carry out plans. Directing. For example, based on my experience, if you are part of a small team, maaaring ang ilan sa inyo na experience nyo na, magkakaroon kayo dyan ng mga short meetings, ang tawag nyo is team huddle. So sa team huddle, pag-uusapan nyo kasama ng inyong team lead, kung ano ba yung mga tasks to be accomplished in the day. Ano-ano ba yung pwedeng issues na ma-encounter, and what are the ways you will do to resolve those issues. Motivating. Ang best way na to motivate the employees is through rewards and recognition. Example, those employees who perform well will be awarded Employee of the Month and will receive either monetary or non-monetary rewards. Example din yan nung nagtatrabaho ako sa Tokyo Consulting Firm. Meron kaming meeting tuwing umaga i-state namin yung mga tasks na na-achieve namin on the past days. And then, after that, everyone will clap on it. So, yun yung mga example ng ways how you can do directing and motivating. But not limited to those things. Malawak pa siya. Third function, that is organizing. This involves grouping of functions, establishing relationships among them, and defining their authority and responsibility so that the company resources can be used effectively. So mostly sa mga big companies, they are departmentalized. So merong HR department, marketing department, finance department. So that's one way of grouping the different functions in an entity. And ito ngang mga departments na to, nag-work sila closely together to achieve a common company goal. Last function, controlling. Controlling involves checking the performance of activities against the standards set and deciding what corrective actions should be done to deal with the deviations between actual and standard performance. On this part, dito na mag-play ng malaking role yung inyong budgets. So you will make comparison between the actual results with the standards that you had set. Any deviation or variance from it should be investigated so that it can be prevented on the future performance of the entity. For all the functions that we had discussed, time by time you're gonna have to make decisions. And what are those things that you do in decision making? Number one, defining the problem. On this part, you're gonna have to determine what is the constraint or bottleneck that exists and should be resolved. 2. Gathering relevant information or facts. Those informations that will make a difference to your decision making are the ones that are considered relevant. The absence or in absence of which can cause you to change your decision. 3. Developing alternative solutions. 4. Evaluating these different alternatives. And lastly, choosing the best alternative. The best alternative solution is the one that will give you the most effective and efficient way of solving your problem. Last time, we had cited a bit of a difference between financial accounting and management accounting. This time, we're gonna enumerate all the differences between these two fields of accounting. First one would be users of report. As you all know, for management accounting, reports are intended to be used by the internal users. Internal users will refer to the managers and officers of the organization. Financial accounting, on the other hand, the reports are intended for external users. These are the stockholders, creditors, and government agencies. Purpose: management accounting reports aims to provide information to internal users to help them in making decisions in the performance of all the functions in management. That is planning, directing, organizing, and controlling. While financial accounting reports intends to provide information to external users about the company's financial position and financial performance. Types of reports. There are different types of reports in management accounting, such as budgets, financial projections, cost analysis, and more, depending on the needs of the management. For financial accounting, these are mainly the income statement, reporting the company's financial performance, the balance sheet, reporting the company's financial position. And both of these are accompanied by notes to financial statements. Standards of presentation. Under management accounting, management can set the rules to produce the most relevant information the organization needs. This is the reason why sabi ko nga, it doesn't matter kung ano man yung edition ng management accounting na libro na gamit nyo. Kasi wala siyang sinusunod na specific standards. Ang standard to which the report is being prepared will depend on the needs of the organization. But under financial accounting, reports are prepared in accordance to the generally accepted accounting principles or GAAP. Reporting entity. For management accounting, the focus of reports is on the company's value chain, such as business segment, product line, supplier, or customer. While for financial accounting, financial reports relate to the business as a whole. Period covered. For management accounting, reports can cover any time period. It can be per year, quarter, month, week, or daily, and may be required as frequently as needed. While for financial accounting, reports usually cover year, quarter, or month. Now that we had an idea about the differences between management accounting and financial accounting, let us now proceed on knowing more the personnel who is in charge in the application of management accounting and financial accounting in an organization. And that would be the controller. So, sa isang organization, maaaring may ma-encounter kayo na wala ng taong nakaposition as controller. Kasi, maaaring yung functions niya, si Chief Financial Officer na ang nagawa or CFO. also known as Vice President for Finance. Pero sino nga ba si Controller? So, Controller is the Chief Management Accountant in an organization who is mainly responsible for the accounting aspects of management, planning, and control. And what are the functions of a controller? These are 1. Planning and control. So planning, we had discussed this already. So planning is about setting short-term and long-term goals, predicting future scenarios, developing strategies, and choosing the best strategy that can achieve the company's goals. What about control? Control is about uh, checking whether the activities or performance of the company meets the standards set. Number 2, reporting and interpreting. As a controller, he makes both management and financial accounting reports. But it doesn't end in that. So after niya magawa yung reports, he or she needs to analyze the results and interpret it in a manner that will convey the company's performance or financial position to the managers of the entity. Number 3, evaluating and consulting. Itong part na to, parang combination siya ng directing, organizing, and controlling. So si controller, he or she communicates with all the division managers of the company. Chine-check niya whether their performance or operation ba meets the policies and rules set by the company in order to meet their goals. Number 4, tax administration. Sa si controller, ina-assure niya na kung ano man yung latest tax laws na enacted in the current year, yun yung sinusunod ng company when it comes to accounting and filing of their taxes. But in reality talaga, most of the business, you will encounter na kapag accountant kayo, malalaman nyo na gumagawa sila ng 2 libro. One book for internal, na nagsasalamin talaga ng tunay na performance ng company. And then one book for external, yung pinapasa nila to SEC and BIR. So there will come a time talaga na ma-audit kayo and sasabihin ni BIR na gato dapat yung amount ng tax na babayaran nyo. So ikaw naman as an accountant, maaaring isend ka ng inyong company to provide proof sa BIR. Naranasan ko yan and pumunta ako sa BIR and nag-provide ng mga proof. So, yung mga proof mo, syempre, mga business documents. So, ang task mo naman doon is mapababa ng mapababa yung tax na babayaran ng company. Number 5, government reporting. Ito naman about siya sa procurement ng reports na pinapasa mo sa Securities and Exchange Commission as well as sa BIR. Halimbawa niyan is yung audited financial statement, saka inventory list. Number 6, protection of assets. So si controller, he makes timely internal audit to make sure na yung mga internal controls are in place. And also, the assets are insured. So, bakit necessary yung ganong activities? Internal control. Kapag ka ang assets mo na ginagamit mo for production is perishable or na papani siya, you need to make sure na before ma-reach yung kanyang expiration date, ay magagamit na siya sa production. So, one way na i-apply mo is yung FIFO, which is first in, first out. Yung mga nauna mong na-purchase na goods, siya yung una mong gagamitin sa production. Also, you're gonna have to make timely physical count ng inventory. That is to make sure na walang inventory na nananakaw. And lastly, ensure dapat yung mga items, both current and non-current. Para in case na makaranas ang company ng kalamidad, masira yung assets, makakakuha ka ng reimbursements from the insurance company. Mapapalitan mo siya kaagad.